Please be seated. My name is Margaret M. Mitchell. I'm the Dean of the Divinity School and Professor of New Testament and Early Christian Literature. On behalf of the Divinity School faculty, together with the entire Swift Hall community, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you, graduates, family members, friends, and current students to this special graduation ceremony in the Divinity School held in conjunction with the university's 515th Convocation. We are glad to see all of you here in this place at this moment. And I'm especially glad to see our students from less than a mile away. Unlike out there on the quad, where I was waving to you as though you were in Elmhurst, Illinois. Now allow me please to introduce those who are up here on the dais today. Members of the Divinity School faculty. Colleagues, please stand when I call your name. Catherine Breckus, Associate Professor in Religions in America and the History of Christianity, Associated Faculty in the Department of History. Christine Culp, Associate Professor of Theology and Dean of Disciples Divinity House. Wendy Doniger, Mircea Eliade Distinguished Service Professor of the History of Religions and faculty in South Asian Languages and Civilizations in the Humanities Division. Dwight Hopkins, Professor of Theology and Director of MA Studies. Kevin Hector, Assistant Professor of Theology and of the Philosophy of Religions. Cynthia Lindner, Director of Ministry Studies and Senior Lecturer for Preaching and Pastoral Care. Lucy Pick, Director of Undergraduate Studies and Senior Lecturer in the History of Christianity and Associated Faculty in the Department of History in the Social Sciences Division. Richard A. Rosengarten, Associate Professor of Religion and Literature. Michael Sells, John Henry Barrows, Professor of Islamic History and Literature and Associated Faculty in the Department of Comparative Literature in the Humanities Division. And Christian Wedemeyer, Associate Professor of the History of Religions and Associated Faculty in South Asian Languages and Civilizations. And also joining us here today is Elizabeth Davenport, the Dean of Rockefeller Chapel. This Divinity School has been the graduate professional school for the academic study of religion at the University of Chicago since its founding in 1891. The school offers programs of study that educate persons in the profession of speaking in an intelligent, knowledgeable, critical, rigorous, and honestly engaged way about a subject that is largely spoken of in its opposite terms in the world today: religion. Religion as a human phenomenon has many manifestations in past and in present. Swift Hall is host to a conversation from the widest possible range of perspectives and interests in the study of religion, all set within the premier research university that is the University of Chicago, with our defining values of critical thinking and the advancement of knowledge so that human life may flourish. Crescat scientia vita excolatur. It is my special pleasure to introduce Teresa Hord Owens, Dean of Students in the Divinity School, who will add some words of welcome of her own.
Thank you, Dean Mitchell. It is my pleasure to welcome and congratulate our graduates, their families and friends. It has been such a joy and privilege to get to know all of you from the moment you were prospective students through your orientation and following along in each of your programs of study. We are extremely proud of all of your accomplishments and know that you will bear the school high as you move forward in whatever field of endeavor you're planning to engage in. We hope that you'll continue to be engaged and enthusiastic alumni, and most importantly, we want you to know that this school is a better institution. We are a better community because you have been among us. Congratulations and all best wishes to you. Thank you. Dean Mitchell.
So what's a graduation without diplomas? We will now begin to confer the diplomas. We will do so by degree, programs in the following order: the MA degree, the MDiv degree, and the PhD degree. So I ask, will the MA graduates please stand? We now recognize the achievement of these 25 graduates who earlier today were awarded the degree of Master of Arts in Divinity by the Board of Trustees of the University of Chicago. These students have completed a 2-year course of study, introducing them to the substance and methods of academic inquiry into the subject of religion in its multiple manifestations. These graduates, through coursework, language study, independent research, and extracurricular engagement, have attained a genuine breadth of acquaintance with the methods for the study of religion and also fundamental knowledge in their chosen areas of concentration. In recognition of this accomplishment, it is my pleasure to present you with your diploma. And I call forward Professor Dwight Hopkins, Director of MA Studies, who will present you with a gift from the Divinity School at the University of Chicago of a University of Chicago pin, which is now your alma mater. So I ask if you would please hold your applause until all of our MA graduates have received their diplomas. And MA graduates standing in the front 2 rows, please sit momentarily, and you'll see how they'll come forward from the back.
Christine Brooke Anderson. Sean Patrick Bela. Daniel Venura. Francesca Nicole Chubb Confer. James Robert Covington. Matthew Creighton. Iman Amy M. Debussy. Jennifer Marie Dixon. Marissa Carol Franz. Jana Kelly Gonwa. Kelsey M. Gradanis. Emily Fortune Hancock. Catherine Ann Hartman. Todd Elson Herrick. Brian Gordon Hillman. Imran Muhammad Ikram. Richard F. Kaufman. Mark Michael Lambert. Zhu Liang. Christina Catherine Iannis. Nelson Levy Long. Miriam Noor Sabagi. Elizabeth Ann Sartell. Bakar Hassan Syed.
How about a round of applause? Will the MDiv graduates please stand? We now celebrate the accomplishments of these 15 students who earlier today were awarded the Master of Divinity degree by the Board of Trustees of the University of Chicago. These students have completed a demanding course of study toward professional competence in public religious leadership, including coursework across the Divinity School and the university, dedicated courses in the significance of religious experience, community, and discourse, attention to practice in the arts of ministry, and 2 attendant engagements in field education, as well as a senior ministry project and a public presentation thereof that represents original research in the arts of ministry. They are trained for the profession of ministry. It is my pleasure to present you with the diploma that you have earned, and I call forward Professor Cynthia Lindner, Director of Ministry Studies, who will present you with a pin from the University of Chicago as a gift from the Divinity School. Wear it in memory and pride of your alma mater. So again, I ask if you would hold your applause until the end of the presentation. And MDiv graduates sitting in front, please sit down momentarily.
Jeffrey Allen Chalberg. Ruth E. Kaufman. Christopher D. Elderkin. Nina Claire Givian Kermani. Tandiwe Amy Helen Gobeldale. Christopher Harting Hanley. Miles Spencer Hopgood. Celeste Grace Kennelshank Groff. Krista Michelle Kutz. Tessa Sylvia McBrayer. Joshua Daniel Oxley. Nadia Mary Stefko. William Michael Storm. Adam Caperton Varner. Peter Ward Youngblood.
Please join me in congratulating the 2013 MDiv graduates of the Divinity School. This afternoon, we recognize 6 graduates who earlier today, and one earlier, were awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy by the Board of Trustees of the University of Chicago. These doctorands have each completed a rigorous course of study in one of the 11 areas of specialization in the Divinity School, including extensive coursework, examinations in languages both modern and ancient, comprehensive written and oral qualifying examinations, and the research and writing of a dissertation that has been approved by a faculty committee in their field of study. They are trained as professionals, research scholars and educators in the academic study of religion. These doctorands have not only gone in pursuit, but they have found some scientia. The PhD degree is a research degree. It is only received when the candidate has made an original contribution to humanistic learning. We wish to recognize them by sending them forth with a gift from Swift Hall of the hood that they now have the right and privilege to wear, which uniquely marks them as Doctor of Philosophy graduates of the University of Chicago Divinity School. We will now present the diplomas and hoods to our PhD graduates. I'll be assisted by members of the faculty who will hood the doctorands, and each will stand individually, not as a group.
Shata Khalid Amutawa, hooded by Professor Michael Sells.
Program of Study in the History of Judaism. Doctoral dissertation entitled Imaginative Cultures and Historic Transformations. Narrative and Rasail Ikhwan al-Safa.
Antonia Michelle Damond, hooded by Professor Dwight Hopkins.
Program of Study in Theology. Doctoral dissertation entitled From Slavery to Obama, Rethinking Exodus Hermeneutics in Black Liberation Theology.
Jeffrey Dean J., hooded by Dean Margaret M. Mitchell.
Program of Study in Biblical Studies. Doctoral dissertation entitled The Tragic in Mark, a Literary Historical Interpretation.
Rukama Jerusha Johnston Bloom, hooded by Dean Margaret M. Mitchell.
Doctoral dissertation entitled Oriental Studies and Jewish Questions, German Jewish Encounters with Muhammad, the Quran, and Islamic Modernities.
Seth Perry, hooded by,
Professor Breckes.
You already did that. Seth Perry. I'm sorry. Hooded by Professor Catherine Breckes.
Program of Study in the History of Christianity. Doctoral dissertation entitled The Endless Making of Many Books, Bibles and Religious Authority in America, 1780 to 1850.
Benjamin Jacob Schoenthal, hooded by Professor Wendy Doniger.
Program of Study in the History of Religions. Doctoral dissertation entitled Ruling Religion, Buddhism, Politics and Law in Contemporary Sri Lanka. Dr. Shanta. We have the occasion to present a few awards at this diploma ceremony. Each year, the Joseph Gray Rind Award is presented to a graduating Master of Divinity student or students. This year, I am delighted to present the award to two outstanding graduates. They're actually sitting next to each other. Did we do that on purpose? No, it's alphabetical. Celeste Groff and Krista Kutz. Celeste and Krista, please come forward. In September of 2012, the Divinity School officially launched a program called The Craft of Teaching in the Academic Study of Religion. As dedicated as we are to enhancing intelligent public discussion of religion, we thought it was incumbent upon us to have a whole array of programs whereby our graduates across all of our degree programs can be effective educators who can help design, structure, and lead educational moments around the subject of religion that are not marked by sectarianism, dogmatism, ideology, but are marked by critical assessment of the evidence and honest engagement across those who think the same and those who do not think the same. And we're pretty well sure that most of our culture doesn't do that very well. So in our launch year of the Craft of Teaching program, we had over 22 different events across the work of the Divinity School in some aspect of pedagogy relating to the academic study of religion. We had over 124 students who attended one or more event, and we're quite sure that the program has a great future ahead. One of the pieces of it is a graduate teaching prize, and this is the first year we will award that prize on the basis of a superior portfolio of educational experiences and reflections. So it's quite an honor for me to announce and present the first annual Divinity School Prize for Excellence in Teaching to Tariq El-Gendi. Rick, would you please come forward? And I'll be with you in a second. I need the mic. The Divinity School Prize for Excellence in Teaching is awarded to a PhD student who has completed all the requirements of the Craft of Teaching program and submitted a teaching portfolio of distinction. It recognizes superior preparation of a doctoral student for a career in teaching. The citation reads, "For his role as an exemplary model of a thoughtful, diligent, resourceful, and creative pedagogue in the academic study of religion, the University of Chicago Divinity School presents to Tariq F. El-Gendi the 2013 Divinity School Prize for Excellence in Teaching. And I have the special pleasure on behalf of the university to present the university's Graduate Teaching Award to one of our faculty. May I say the third year in a row Divinity School faculty have won this prize, to Professor Kevin Hector. And I would ask Professor Hector please to come forward. The citation for the award reads, "Known for the clarity and discipline of his thinking in constructive theology and the philosophy of religions, Kevin Hector designs his courses to develop in his students the capacity for careful argumentation and accountability to the texts, traditions, histories, and larger publics. His detailed and incisive feedback on students' writing and ideas articulates the highest standards for scholarly work, while always offering specific constructive advice to help students come closer to meeting these goals themselves. An exemplary mentor, he is celebrated for his extraordinary generosity with his time and personal attention, always aimed at encouraging and enabling each student to make his or her own unique contribution to the conversation, both in the classroom and in the wider world." That's the longer citation. The shorter citation. With his engaging and rigorous classroom style and incisive critical attention to students' intellectual work, joined by generous encouragement and personalized mentoring, Kevin Hector assists each student to find her or his own voice in the disciplined conversations that constitute the academic study of religion. Professor Kevin Hector. I would also at this time like to make one more recognition at the end of this busy academic year, and that is to recognize our Dean of Students, Teresa Horrod-Owens, who this year celebrates her 10th year of service as Dean of Students in the Divinity School. On behalf of all of us, I want to thank Terry for her service, her advocacy, her energy, and her dedication to the Divinity School and to our students. And I have a 10-year pin to award to Dean Owens. So congratulations, Terry. My script says, ad lib reference to Convocation address. And maybe as with Professor Hector, do you want the short version or the long version? As President Zimmer said at the end of the Convocation ceremony of the University of Chicago, at the University of Chicago we believe that all ideas are subject to disciplined inquiry and testing, and that extends, of course, to a Convocation address. I would want to say that the academic study of religion for the professions of research, education, and public religious leadership can perhaps add to the somewhat simple diagnostics of our business school colleague, Professor Abby Smith, of the relationship between values and happiness. For one thing, the definitions of both values and happiness for much of human history, and indeed today across the globe, have often been drawn from the religious traditions of Islam, of Judaism, of Hinduism, of Buddhism, of Christianity, and of many other local and other religious cults and affiliations. They've been drawn from their sacred texts, from their rituals, from their ideas, from their forms of education, from their institutions and forms of community life. As important as these are, they cry out for analysis that is historical, that engages all the tools of the humanistic and social sciences, and that is constructive in that ultimately it seeks the better and not the worse for those who analyze the power of these religious elements, power that is both life-giving and death-dealing. This is our work. Putting it that way, our work, also throws into relief for me a second thing that I think was missing in the speech, but of course no one can pack everything into a convocation speech, and Professor Smith would probably agree with me. But I do think that the speech gave the sense that human beings perhaps undertake this examination of values as individuals, as the title of the speech held it, a personal governance exam. But we would want to carry forward that call to personal governance to public accountability, an accountability that extends to the present and future of religious communities, ideas, and practices. That conversation can and must extend beyond the business school and into the full university. And a university, being what it is, a discussion between the living and the dead about human value and meaning, must, as it is our calling, include careful, critical, and honest study of the phenomenon of religion. Now, you graduates, whom we honor and recognize today, have been valuable participants in this conversation about the academic study of religion that is the Divinity School, that is your Divinity School. This ceremony marks a milestone in your academic achievement, but not the end of the conversation, because you are always a part of the Swift Hall community. Congratulations and the best of luck to each one of you. One more round of applause. Now, to the family and friends of these wonderful graduates, some of whom have come very long distances to be here today, and didn't know you were coming this long distance in order to wear a baggie over your head on the quadrangle of the university to try to stay dry. But you stand behind these graduates, and we're eager to meet you and to celebrate with you. We are so honored that you made the trek to share this momentous occasion with your graduates and with us. The celebration will continue with a reception in the third floor lecture hall upstairs in Swift Hall, and there will be those to direct you toward the reception. Even the life of the mind, after all, requires physical sustenance. I hope that all of you will join us. I ask that you please remain in your seats until the faculty and graduates have processed out. We'll see you upstairs to continue the celebration with food and drink.